Gentlemen, let me ask you something serious. Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible? You're not trying to be flashy, you're well-dressed, you're polite, you've lived, learned, and evolved, and yet, it's as if the room doesn't see you. The women don't look twice. The energy, silent. But here's what no one tells you. It's not your age. It's not your appearance. And it's definitely not that you've lost your prime. In fact, research shows that beyond age 60, men possess a unique psychological power that younger men simply cannot replicate. It's not talked about in dating books, and you won't hear it from overpriced gurus, but it's the secret difference between the man women overlook and the man they lean into with curiosity and desire. And the best part? This shift doesn't require money, looks, or status. It requires 12 minutes a day and a mindset that I'll teach you in this video. By the time you finish watching, you'll understand exactly how to activate what I call quiet confidence, a neurobiological, emotional, and deeply masculine presence that naturally draws others in without you ever needing to chase. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I'm too old for that, I've missed my chance, let me tell you right now, you haven't missed anything. In fact, you're just warming up. Let's begin. For decades, society has conditioned men to believe that youth, wealth, or a chiseled jawline are the cornerstones of attraction. But modern psychology and current neuroscience research have revealed something far more compelling, an internal force every man possesses. What's even more fascinating is that activating it requires just 12 minutes a day. And yes, it has nothing to do with chasing women. In fact, it's quite the opposite. By the time we're done, you'll understand a daily practice that naturally draws others toward you, without pretense, without performance, and without chasing. Before we delve into this research-backed framework, I encourage you to engage. Leave a comment with your location. I find it incredibly inspiring to see men around the globe investing in their mental, emotional, and relational health. And if you're committed to growth, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you can stay up to date with all the strategies and psychological insights I share every week. Now, let's talk about a deeply limiting myth, the widespread belief that once you're past 60, you're automatically less desirable unless you have a luxury car or an inflated bank account. This is not only inaccurate, it's a damaging narrative. In my field, working as a specialist in men's health and performance for over a decade, I've witnessed firsthand how men in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond are confidently forming meaningful, passionate connections with vibrant women in their 40s and 50s. The commercial dating industry has led many men astray. Frankly, it thrives off your insecurities by making you believe you must buy expensive fashion, chemical-laden hair treatments, or anti-aging formulas. It keeps you spending without addressing the root of the issue. But contrary to their narrative, attraction doesn't hinge on appearing 30 again. Women aren't longing for six-pack abs or boyish charm. What they deeply crave is substance, emotional depth, presence, psychological maturity, and energetic steadiness. And I state this with complete clinical certainty. Attractiveness beyond age 50 is much more neurological and psychological than it is physical. Where many men fall short is that they're unknowingly playing the wrong game, trying to mimic youth when they're actually sitting on qualities that younger men can't compete with. Not because they won't try, but because they haven't lived long enough to earn them. Let's explore 5 key behaviors that most men over 60 get wrong, and more importantly, one psychological shift that can change everything. First, many men seek external validation instead of cultivating internal contentment. If she likes me, maybe I'll feel good about myself, they think. But this approach signals neediness, which, biologically, is interpreted by a woman's limbic brain as instability. Emotionally, it creates subtle pressure. Practically, it results in anxious behavior, talking too much, trying too hard, or attempting to impress. Second, they compare themselves with younger men and try to compete on visual appeal. But you don't win that game, and you don't have to. What younger men don't bring is a calm, centered presence. Neuroscientific studies have shown that emotional steadiness directly interacts with the female nervous system, promoting a state of safety and openness. A confident, grounded man doesn't flash. He radiates memory and wisdom, and that biologically creates trust. Third, many falsely believe that women prefer youth, but in truth, women today are overwhelmed by emotional immaturity across all age ranges. What they really desire is masculine maturity. Evolutionary psychology outlines that maturity signals long-term reliability, both genetically and socially. Emotionally, it means you'll listen instead of react. Practically, it builds deeper emotional and even physical intimacy. Fourth, one of the greatest blocks to true chemistry is constant performance. Telling stories, making jokes, selling yourself. But relationships aren't auditions. In fact, when a man drops the need to entertain and instead becomes fully present, his neurobiology shifts, his parasympathetic nervous system activates, cortisol lowers, and his presence becomes calming. That, in and of itself, is magnetic. Fifth, the most underrated superpower in later life attraction is what I call outcome independence, an ability to walk into any social situation without needing something in return. Research in behavioral psychology confirms when we're at peace with any outcome, yes or no, we give off authenticity and people are drawn to that. For many women, it's refreshing and rarely encountered. Now, you might ask, how do I cultivate this level of confidence and outcome independence? I've developed a simple yet powerful neural retraining exercise known as the Indifference Activation Protocol, a 12-minute daily practice that reconditions both your conscious mindset and your subconscious responses, gradually transforming how others perceive you. Here's how it works. Step 1. 3 minutes of deep contentment. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and imagine yourself completely fulfilled. Without needing a partner, without needing anyone's approval, feel whole as you are. This activates your brain's reward circuits internally, bypassing addictive dependency on external validation. Step 2. 4 minutes of visualization. Picture yourself in a graceful social interaction with an attractive woman. In this image, you're not trying to impress, acquire, or control the outcome. Notice the freedom in that. Neuroscientifically, visual rehearsal of non-reactive confidence trains your brain for real-world encounters. Step 3, 5 minutes of reflective self-worth. Recall your achievements, personal, professional, relational. Don't inflate, just own them. You've raised children, overcome setbacks, helped friends. That's not ego, that's lived experience. When you feel connected to your legacy, your voice naturally carries weight. Your posture shifts. This triggers social signals of high self-worth. What we see over time is remarkable. Men report that strangers engage them differently. Body language becomes more open. Women hold eye contact longer. Compliments come without you soliciting them. I recall a gentleman, Frank, age 68, in New Jersey. One morning at his local cafe, he chose to silently engage in this protocol. He simply drank his coffee, read his novel. Within minutes, the woman next to him initiated conversation. They're still together, 2 years strong. This is the power of inward alignment. And it doesn't require designer suits, wealth, or pretending to be younger. What truly draws others toward you, especially women, is congruence, psychological stability, emotional presence, life-earned wisdom. These are currencies that don't age, they deepen. So, beginning tomorrow morning, I challenge you, set aside 12 minutes. That's less time than most men spend on the news or social media. Engage yourself in the Indifference Activation Protocol. Observe what shifts in your energy, in your posture, and in the way others begin responding to you. You are not invisible. You are not past your prime. You are simply one mindset shift away from becoming profoundly magnetic again. If this message resonated, subscribe and stay tuned. In future videos, I'll be sharing evidence-based techniques for body language mastery, bioenergetic confidence, and subtle psychological cues that influence how people respond to you the moment you enter a room. And I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What's the biggest challenge you encounter when it comes to confidence and connection at this stage of life? I personally read every message. Many future topics are built directly on your feedback. Stay grounded, stay aware, and never forget, the most attractive thing you can offer is the man you've become.